Hi guys, in this video I want to show a working example of a CSV data import into Kontent.ai. I've kept it very simple so that the example isn't overcomplicated and you really get to see how basic an import process can be with Kontent.ai. So in this video we'll have a simplified blog content type. We'll also have a CSV file with the blog data inside it, and we'll use a custom React.js application which I've built to import the CSV data into Kontent.ai to populate some content items based on the blog content type. Now, if you're interested in a more in-depth look at the Management API and importing data into the CMS, I've included a link in the description to one of my other videos which covers these concepts in more detail. So as a first step, let's jump into Kontent.ai and have a look at the blog content type. So here we are in the Kontent.ai CMS, and I'm in the content model section, and I'm looking at the content type blog. As you can see, we've got three elements, all of type text. We've got a title, we've got an author, and we've got text. Now, if we go into content and assets, if we filter by the content type of blog, you can see we have no data here. So all our data is within our CSV file. And if we look at that, we've got 5 blogs here, which we want to populate the CMS with. Now, before we jump into doing the actual import, I wanted to quickly show you a part of my source code. As my React.js application iterates the uploaded CSV file, 2 key functions are called. Firstly, there's the create blog function, which creates the blog content type. So you can see here, we are instantiating a management client object and then creating the content item of type blog. Please ignore the lack of error handling code here. I've tried to keep this as simple as possible for the purposes of this video, so you can see exactly how the management API is being utilized in code. Now, the second function here is called to do an upsert operation based on the management client, which populates the blog item with data from the CSV. Okay, so now for the moment of truth, let's do the actual import. This is a very basic front end that I've built out, which utilizes that import code that we just saw. So I'll choose a file, I'll get my blog CSV, and I'll submit. So 5 items have been created. If I go back into the CMS and let me refresh, there is our imported data. So let's go into one of these. And there's our content for us. Hopefully this simple import example gives you a better idea of how a content migration might look in a real-world scenario. As I mentioned at the start, have a look in the description below, as I've included a link to my previous video which looks at data importing in more detail. Thanks for watching, guys.